This video will help you understand how a new life starts. The ultimate goal of the reproductive process is to ensure the formation and development of the offspring after the union of the egg and the sperm, the growth and development of the fetus, and the birth of the infant. The organs, glands, and hormones of the male and female reproductive system are instrumental in meeting these goals. So, what is reproductive system? Reproductive system is the organs involved in producing offspring. In women, which is called female reproductive system, and for men is male reproductive system. The male reproductive system includes the testes, ducts, glands, and penis. Its function is to produce and deliver sperms. The major sex hormone in males is testosterone. The female reproductive system includes the ovaries, uterus, fallopian tubes, and vagina. Its function is to produce eggs, receive a sperm, nourish a fertilized egg, and give birth. The major sex hormone in female are estrogen and progesterone. Once a month, the female releases an ovum, or sometimes two. If an ovum has been released and the couple have sex, a sperm can unite with it, fertilize it, and make the first cell of a new baby. Once one sperm has fertilized the ovum, no other sperm can get in. A new life begins when fertilization takes place, over a 9-month period called pregnancy. In pregnancy, we have this 3 development, which is prenatal development, perinatal development, and postnatal development. Prenatal development is defined as the process of growth and development within the womb from fertilization until birth. Prenatal development has 3 stages, which is the germinal, embryonic, and fetal. Germinal, 0 to 2 weeks. Embryonic, 3 to 8 weeks. Fetal, 9 weeks till birth. Perinatal development is pertaining to the period immediately before and after birth. The perinatal period is defined in diverse ways. It starts at the 20 to 28 weeks of gestation and ends 1 to 4 weeks after birth. What is the difference between perinatal and prenatal development? Many people confuse prenatal and perinatal care. Prenatal care is often defined as the time before birth, while perinatal care is the time before and after birth, although perinatal care is used immediately before and after birth. Postnatal development. Postnatal growth consists of at least 3 distinct phases, which is the infancy, childhood, and puberty, which are influenced by different growth factors. Postnatal growth was defined as growth from 1 to 9 years. And lastly, the 5 factors that greatly influence the child's development. Nature and nurture both contribute to the growth and development of children. Although what's endowed by nature is constant, nurture tends to make a big difference too. Here are a few factors affecting children's growth and development. So, I have here a very short video clip that will help you more understand about the 5 factors that greatly influence the child's development. And lastly, here is my video to help you more understand about the basic concept of human reproduction.
Fertilization or fusion of gametes is the most vital event in the process of sexual reproduction, as it results in new life. In humans, while the male gamete or sperm is motile, the female gamete or ovum is non-motile. Therefore, for fertilization to occur, the two gametes must be brought together. This is achieved through insemination, where the penis releases semen, filled with thousands of sperms, into the vagina. Interestingly, while half of the total sperms released carry the X chromosome, the other half contain the Y chromosome. These sperms then rapidly move through the cervix, pass through the uterus, and finally reach the ampullary isthmic junction of the fallopian tube. In the meantime, the ovum, after completing the first meiotic division, gets released into the fallopian tube with the rupture of the Graafian follicle. Upon its release, the ovum begins to undergo the second meiotic division. The resultant XY zygote develops into a male. Thus, it is the sperm that decides the sex of the fetus. A little more than a day after its formation, the zygote starts moving down the fallopian tube. Simultaneously, the zygote also undergoes mitotic division, and with each successive division, the number of daughter cells doubles. The embryo gets attached to the uterus as the trophoblast grows outwards and penetrates the endometrial lining of the uterus. In response, the endometrial cells divide and start surrounding the blastocyst. This causes the blastocyst to sink and get implanted into the uterus. Once implantation has occurred, pregnancy gets initiated. Moreover, after implantation, inner cell mass cells get differentiated and begin to form the embryo. Embryo formation is thus a complex process that begins with fertilization and ends with implantation of the embryo. The cells of one side of the disc grow faster than those on the other side. This causes the disc to roll and form a cylindrical embryo. Initially, this embryo is attached to the placenta, but as it starts to develop, it moves away from the placenta and remains connected to it via an umbilical cord. The placenta is an important structure that supplies the embryo with oxygen, nutrients, and hormones, as well as carries waste products from the embryo back to the mother. The embryo stays inside the uterus for 9 months, which is called the gestation period. During this period, the embryo undergoes several developments. By the end of the first month, the embryo develops a heart, while the end of the second month marks the transition of an embryo to a fetus with developing fetal limbs and digits. And by the end of the third month, most of the organs are already formed. Another 4 months and the fetus is rapidly gaining weight and its bones get stronger. By the beginning of the 9th month, the position it will take during delivery. Interestingly, while the fetus is undergoing several developmental changes, the mother's body too is undergoing several hormonal changes. The ovary, for example, starts secreting a hormone called RT, HPL, and relaxin are secreted only when a woman is pregnant. Apart from the secretion of these hormones, the levels of other hormones such as estrogen, progestogen, cortisol, prolactin, and thyroxine also rise rapidly in a pregnant woman's body. These hormones support the growth of the fetus as well as maintain the pregnancy. Increased levels of progestogen and estrogen, for instance, put the menstrual cycle on hold and prevent the shedding of the uterine lining, which is embedded with the developing fetus. Contractions, in turn, act on the mother's pituitary gland that now starts secreting oxytocin, a hormone that causes stronger uterine contractions. The simultaneous uterine contractions and oxytocin release makes the contractions stronger with every passing minute and ultimately results in the expulsion of the baby from the mother's uterus. This process of delivery of the fetus is called maturation. Immediately after the birth of the baby, the placenta is expelled from the uterus.